Okay, welcome to another edition of the Working Lunch. This is a special edition, actually, because it's not every day, it's not every show that you and I work together, Bruce.
That's a fact. You hit the bottom of the barrel here. I'm the last guy.
We're both
the last guy to choose.
I think we're both skimming from the bottom there.
To all our thousands of viewers out there.
Michaela is off doing some new adventures or something, so she'll be back. But for this edition, it's you and I. Kind of old school. We had started back in the day for a bit, right?
It'll be 5 years in December, and one of the first things I did was I sat in on the Working Lunch. It must have been in December 20th or 21st of 2019.
And there you go.
Yep.
And so it should be noted that we're filming this on Halloween. So it's going to air in November, and people are going to be like, oh, why is Bruce wearing, is that his 5th year anniversary shirt, or what is there a special? And so it's because it's actually.
Can we get a close-up on this sartorial splendor? This is the only time I can wear my Halloween shirt. I can't, like I said, I can't really wear it in for Memorial Day, right?
It's a very day-specific attire. And you brought us a little guest here. Why don't you introduce your guest?
This is our guest today. This is Kevin, the Minion. He doesn't say very much. He says, banana. Right. And I brought this in because, it's the Working Lunch, and I'm Jeff's Minion, so this is my
I
my
see the
Minion.
Resemblance of it.
This is my Minion. I love the Minions. I dressed up as Gru on Tuesday. You missed it. You weren't at work, but I dressed up as Gru.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Why didn't you take a picture? Why I didn't see a picture?
Anyway, we're going to leave Kevin right here.
Do you have any pictures of this supposed costume you wore?
Yeah, I took a picture with On.
Okay.
Yep.
And On dressed up as?
A page boy?
No, I think she was supposed to be you. I think.
No, sir.
You took a picture with her and you never asked her what her costume was?
One doesn't ask.
We're going to have to get to the bottom of this. But you might notice a little sartorial splendor myself. Look at this.
It's very distinguished.
Yeah, I think it's.
How long do you plan to keep that thing?
Not very long. Another couple days, maybe.
All right. Because it comes in gray. Like when I grew one after the Army, I grew a beard. It came in red, so I had a goatee. Yeah, because I was a redhead as a kid.
Really?
And so it came in red. Right, but now when I grow facial hair, it just comes in gray. So
yeah.
I try not to have any hair.
Oh, that's.
I know this is the
red beard.
This is the kind of important stuff we talk about.
That's right. Show. Well, and so we've got a lot of. Let's pivot over now. We have a lot of important stuff to talk about with our guest. Do you want to introduce our guest?
So this is Staff Sergeant Casey Perez of
Kevin.
Thank you. Of the Army Recruiting Department in Worcester, and special guest Casey was helped with our rugby team, ran some PT for our rugby team last spring, and is I would say a distinguished soldier. They don't pick everyone to do recruiting. In all seriousness, the young men and women they pick to do recruiting are generally among the best. Yeah, because they have to provide
someone that can communicate.
Yeah, they have to provide an example to some of the younger potential soldiers. So we're really happy to have you here, Casey, Sergeant Perez, and we're going to grill you.
Awesome. Thank you, Bruce. And I know you have a history of being in the military. I know you were once an officer, so don't worry, I'll keep you straight.
That's right. Sergeant's business. I don't ask. Yeah. I don't ask the sergeant's business.
I'll keep you straight.
Can you tell us a little bit about how, where you're from, how you got into the military, what you've done in the military?
Yeah, no problem. So I'm originally from a small town, California. It's Worcester, California. A little fun fact, if you ever seen the movie TWL with Vin Diesel where they go off the bridge, that's my bridge to my hometown.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it's one of the tallest bridges in the United States. So I've always had a passion for serving, regardless if it was wanting to be in the military, be a police officer or something like that. But I found my calling when I truly wanted to join the military, and I had an Army recruiter come to my high school, and I signed up for it, right? My mom was like, went with my mom, I was 17 years old, and she's like, you're not going to do anything unless I approve of it, and I'm going to put my name down. I was like, no combat unless. It's like, well, there goes infantry for me. I was like, all right. But I always had a passion for vehicles and cars, and so that's what I actually chose, was a wood vehicle mechanic. So I've been all around the United States, had a little tour in Germany and Poland. I'm actually a mechanic in the Army, so I had a lot of opportunities to work with different people within the support field of the military, and been very fortunate to work with some of the top tier people as well.
How many years have you been in?
10 and a half as right now.
10 and a half years.
How long have you been doing recruiting?
since October
Oh,
last
wow.
year. Yeah.
Right. Now you have for those of you who are watching at home, Sergeant Perez has a jungle patch. So he has a tab. So you get tabs if you go to like Ranger School, if you're part of a Special Forces unit. And jungle school is actually a very hard get. You need to have certain qualifications, meet certain physical standards, meet certain test standards to get that, to go to jungle school. Plus, you get really cool boots. You're not wearing them, are you?
No.
Jungle boots are really cool.
Yeah, they're hard to get also.
Can you tell us a little bit about some of the things that you did in the military?
Yeah, so my very first year, I went to a recovery specialist. So I actually went to recovery school, so I learned how to recover vehicles. So basically a military tow truck, but I also do more extensive stuff. So if they're blown up, damaged, rolled over, caught fire, those are stuff I recover, bringing them up, getting them unstuck. That's one of my very cool schools. Went to Mountain Warfare School up in New York. So
Fort Drum.
Fort Drum, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, freezing.
It is cold, but it's one of my favorite places to be at. I know a lot of people dislike Fort Drum due to the weather conditions, but
No, it used to be home to the 10th Mountain.
it still is.
Is it still? Yeah.
It still is, yes.
Good for you.
Yes.
Yeah,
So it's
see,
10th Mountains up there, and they also have a brigade down in Louisiana at Fort Johnson. It used to be Fort Polk. But I guess the reason why Fort Drum's always been my favorite place is where you grow up is usually when I say E1 through E4, so private through specialist, is usually where you have the best time of your life and where you have the most camaraderie. And I always tell people Fort Drum's my best place where I've been at, and
Wow.
I had some of the best leadership I've ever had in my life. It wasn't just like my unit; it was like the whole entire aspect of the whole entire base. The stars aligned.
Yeah.
Right. It was perfect, and I
Nice.
loved it there. Yeah. So I went to Mountain Warfare School. When I went to Hawaii, obviously the jungle school. It was 21 days in the jungle of Hawaii. Right.
Wow.
2 of those were basically not eating, and I had a sprained ankle on the last 3 days, and so I had to run 5 miles on the last 3 days on a sprained ankle.
Yikes.
Yeah. Then
Or else you'd have to recycle.
yeah, I was like, I'm not doing this last 3 days.
Yeah.
I was like,
We made it
I'm
this
gonna
far.
tough
Let
it
me
up,
push
right?
through.
Take a knee, drink some water, as we say sometimes. Then I went to Fort Riley, where I knew instantly I was going to go on a rotation to Europe.
Okay.
So I was there from July of 2021 to July of 2022, which is during the invasion of Ukraine, which is a reason why it was a year-long stint. And so those
In
are some
Fort
of the
Riley
things.
or in Germany?
It was in Europe. I was there. Yeah.
Wow.
And while I was in Poland, I also did my spur ride on my birthday, and
Tell us. So this is a neat military. There's a lot of military traditions.
Traditions, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
really kind of neat.
So I earned my spur rides, right? It's a three-day long event, right? So it started on, the reason why I know this is March 8th, right? So you started off on March 8th. You get your spur buddy, you do some PT events, and then it goes over into the actual big day. And then my day, it went all the way over midnight into the following day. So March 9th was my birthday. And you're supposed to have like a team song. And my buddy's song was "Happy Birthday, Sergeant Perez," trying to get me all messed up, right? So we were in the sand of Poland, and we call it moon dust, which is it's really hard to navigate in.
Yeah.
You know, it's 52 miles of just wrecking around with doing obstacles and all that stuff over 3 days.
Wow.
Yeah, and then recently, not too long ago, I actually completed.
See, now I hear Spirit Day. I'm thinking it's like some
Yeah.
sort of spree day. So maybe some bands, some cotton candy, like a little bit of a carnival. It's not what? No, that's not Spirit Day.
No, it's fun. It is
Fair
fun.
enough. Well, see,
There's
you
a
go.
different definition
It's a different,
of fun
yeah,
when
fun,
it comes
yeah.
to the military.
Yeah,
It's
and then,
really
like for instance, not too long ago, I did my Norwegian Ruck March and completed that. So
Wow.
it was 18.6 miles in 4 hours and 22 minutes.
So it sounds like there's a lot of opportunities
Yeah.
for young men and women in the military.
Always, yeah. Going to college, which I'm going to college right now. Earning education and bettering your future. Buying houses.
Military's paying for that.
Yeah, 100%. I haven't been in debt whatsoever through my college
I mean, that's
endeavors.
such a great advantage for a young person starting, and for families, right? Like,
Yeah.
you've got a son or daughter that you want to succeed in life. The last thing you'd probably want them to do is take on $200,000 in debt, and when you can get all these great life experiences, understand leadership. I mean, I was
Buying a
reading something
house.
from a business, business journal about the business community sees military veterans as some of the most best workers that they can hire, right? Because they understand leadership, they understand getting a job done, mission, they understand chain of command.
Well,
They
that's
have,
what you
all
thought.
these
That's what you thought when you hired me.
thought.
Well,
Yeah,
Key word was thought.
There's some, there's some that
always
kind of
some
don't always.
exceptions.
Some,
You forgot to check his resume. It said officer on it, not enlisted. You know what I mean?
That's right. So look, we talked a little bit about your qualifications and how you got here. Recruiting is a tough job.
It's very tough. Yes.
And we know that for the last couple of years, almost all the services didn't make their goals.
Yeah.
Except for Space Force and I think it was the Marines, another one.
Navy made theirs last year.
And the Army did too
Yeah.
this year. They just made theirs, but I think it was 55,000. The goal was 65,000, but they put it down a little bit. Can you talk a little bit about, from your experience, why in the past the goals weren't met, and then how the goals are being met now? We saw the Be All You Can Be campaign is back.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I'm really not sure about previously, but recently the reason why some of the goals are, people were starting to realize the incentives that we have, right? And how it can better their lives. A lot of people don't think of as military as a first option kind of basis when they always say, all right, my last chance is going to the military, when they should always putting it as a first step option, right? Because a lot of times the benefits you have, regardless whichever branch it is, can help you out either if you do part-time, full-time, whatever you want to do, can help you out in your future. For instance, if you want to do part-time, pays for your college, right?
Yeah.
So you're already having that leg up of other people paying for your college. You're getting a paycheck once a month.
Part-time is the reserves, right?
As the reserves or whatever other branches will call it too, right?
And for college bound, you're kind of doing it the way where you enlist, have no debt, and now they're sponsoring or you're using your benefit to go to college while you're still active.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And then other people, you can go and do ROTC or commit and then go to college
Right,
kind of
sure.
up front.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
That's what I did ROTC. But you're getting points. So this is what's interesting. As an officer, you're on a different path. You usually time in service, but as enlisted, you get points for getting more education, for going to specialty schools, for picking up specialty certifications, and those points help you when you go to your promotion board.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, even having your degree completed really helps out as well. So one of those things that help out, right? But what helps out too is the market, right? If you look at different kind of markets, so for instance, the housing market, not a lot of people have 20% of the equity of the house laying down.
Yeah.
When I bought my house in Kansas, I put zero down, bought my house, and then sold it within a year, used it as an investment. So there's ways to invest in yourself and your family by using the benefits the Army gives you.
Yeah, it's an amazing opportunity, and I sometimes think it's just young people need, and their families. And really, it's probably parents that need to also hear just how all the incentives that exist, all the opportunities that exist, again, without taking on this massive debt of college, especially if you're not really even sure where you want to go. Why go to college and take on all that debt when you're going to get structure, leadership, team building, all these amazing life skills, all these amazing life habits that they're going to be instilled in you, right? Just from signing up. It's a great I think part of it is just needing to get the word out about all the stuff that exists and making sure parents understand it too.
Well, that's why Sergeant Perez is here. Talk to us a little bit about that. So when you're making a pitch, let's say let's say Jeff comes to you and he's like a high school student. You're like, I'm graduating this spring. I don't really know what I want to do. I'm going to talk to the Navy. I'm going to talk to the Air Force. I'm going to talk to Space Force. And you're the last guy on my list.
Or maybe I'm thinking maybe going to a community college or trade school, or maybe just trying to get a job at where I work. Maybe Honey Farms, where I'm working retail or something. But what's
pitch him.
So
there we go.
What I would come up to you, right, and I was asking, so what are your plans for your future, right? I take the recruiter aspect out of it, right? I talk to you as a person. Because I can relate to you when I was in my shoes 10 years ago, right? So you look at it and say, hey, what is your plans for the future? Because you're going to start right now. It's your time to plan for what you're going to do after high school. Because you have to look at, yes, you're 6 months. 6 months might look at as a long time for you right now, but 6 months go by in a flash, right? When you get older, everything goes by. So you have to plan right now. So what is your plans for when you graduate high school? Have you started applying for colleges? What is your dream job? What is something you would like to do? And then they start telling me what it is, right? And then I can also relate it back to the military. So what if I told you I can help you out with this kind of stuff? What if I can help you go to college where you be debt-free, take that burden off your family, right? And then you achieve your goals while also participating back to your family. without putting that burden, right? So that money that they could be spending on you, have them put in a savings account, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Right? And then you also build a career. You're also starting a future. Because it's not just the odd job opportunities we have right now, say you're going to college, but there's other programs that help you on the civilian market to even get you jobs in the civilian aspect.
Oh, sure.
Related, right? There's great programs. I talk to people all the time to help you getting out. Your goal is to become a cop? Well, I can help you out with that aspect, right?
Right.
You want to go become an investigator? I can help you out with that aspect, right? It's all how I can help you out.
Yeah,
And the military
IT,
can relate to you.
I mean, you think of any job in civilian life,
Yeah.
there's probably a military career that related to it, right?
100%.
Everything
Talk about
from
here, we talk about here like with like manufacturing and with CDL,
Yeah.
diesel mechanics.
All
Good
those-
God, I mean, these
yeah.
guys are performing mechanics under fire, right?
Yeah.
So if you can do that under fire, well, geez, you're in a bay, you can do it no problem there.
Yeah.
Now, what are some of the resistance points that you get from some folks?
I don't want to get into it politically, but a lot of it does sometimes turn to politics.
oh, like, hey, we don't necessarily.
We don't
like,
support the people who are in government and that kind of aspect,
where
right?
you're being deployed or whatever.
Or
kinda, yeah.
people don't, parents won't even let us talk to their kids. No, we're all set up,
That's
we're all good.
unfortunate.
Sometimes if people have money, right,
Yeah.
they're like, oh, we're all set up, we don't need your help, we don't need your assistance. But why not just save that money too, and you can just do it part-time?
Yeah.
It's not really that big a contribution,
And
right?
again, it's almost like you need a chance to just talk to the parents about, like, person to person, not, just so they understand all that it offers.
Yeah.
So your job is really almost, it's not so much as like recruiting, it's almost like education / public relations.
Yes.
And what kind of training did you go through to?
So I went to recruiting school, right? So it was 2 months of recruiting school. But a lot of the stuff you learn is like on the job, talking to people, figuring out what kind of obstacles and how do you navigate the obstacles. Excuse me. But it's really doing your research that you figure out. For instance, how many colleges do you think the Army can get you into without having taken SATs or college, or having really good grades besides having college, high school diploma?
No idea.
Yeah, right?
Over 2,700, right? How many of those do you think are collegiate?
Are
Collegiate schools like Stanford, Harvard,
Okay.
Texas University, UConn, all those stuff.
Yeah, all
those
these
schools,
major
without SATs.
SATs or ACTs.
Jeez, I had no idea.
Over 2,700 colleges, over 7,000 locations.
So you could invest, say, 2 or 3. You don't even need to be on active duty. You could be in the
Reserves,
reserves,
yeah.
and then apply to college.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And we can
Isn't
help
it?
you get into it.
Yeah.
And
I'll tell
it's the benefits outweigh the risk, right? People think, oh, I'm signing up for the military, you're going to be sent off to war. No, that's not true, right? Yes, we're not in an active war with anybody. Yes, we are in different locations around the world, right, that are considered combat zones, but we're not in active wars, right? We're not in the Ukrainian war. We're not in that kind of
Thank
stuff,
God.
right?
For now,
but
yeah.
we're not going to war where your soldiers are going to go in to die, right? That's
Yeah.
not how it was when you're back in 2001 when we did the invasion of Iraq and Afghanistan, all that kind of stuff, where we knew the totality was going to be there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the op tempo is much less high paced now than it was for the past 20 years.
Yeah, it really is, but it depends also what kind of units, right? So if your units are on constant rotations, your op tempo is a little bit higher to maintain the standards. Like for instance, when I was in a heavy unit, right, which is a combat, like a tank unit and that kind of stuff, a track unit, the op tempo is always high because they're on a high demand to do rotations to Europe. When if you're in a light infantry unit, the op tempo is way lower because you're not
Now,
really
what's
expected.
the difference between like reserves and like National
good
Guard?
question, good
Like
question.
National Guard.
So you have to think of this, right? Reserves is for the whole entire United States, right? So you can be moved around, right? That's still DOD. Same thing with National Guard. They're still DOD, but they're more or less for the state, right?
Yeah.
So it's this.
Because I mean, I think in
yes.
terms of like, hey, someone, you've got maybe some of those families that are like, oh, I'm hesitant about like, because of politically, maybe they have differences with policy and about how the government uses troops. But then you've got like the National Guard, like you talk about helping communities in need, like whenever there's
Yeah.
a disaster, right? Who's the first ones going in supplying water? So if you want to make a difference in your community, and maybe that's your focus is about helping community, there's still a way you could get involved and get help your community through military service without necessarily taking on. I mean, the National Guard is like front and center whenever there's a local disaster.
And you'd still do your basic training, and then you do your advanced training, and then you join a unit.
Yeah. So like you said, that you did say about disasters, right? I really did think it depends on the location you're at, right? So if you have active duty, I'm gonna give you an example for Hurricane Milton, right? You didn't hear, all you saw on the news was National Guard was deployed to this, right? When you really look at it, the 82nd Airborne was actually deployed, not deployed, but it's moved out there to help assist everybody. So a lot of reconnaissance, right? The air patrol, right? All that kind of stuff was actually, a lot of it was 82nd, right? The Airborne Corps was out there the entire time when Hurricane Milton was in recovery stage.
Well, that's right there.
It's right there, right? So it depends on where your location at, right? Give you another example. When I was in Fort Drum, New York, the state shut down and they couldn't plow I-81. So what did Fort Drum do? They declared to help out, and so they plowed the entire I-81 from New York, Fort Drum down to Syracuse.
That's awesome.
Talk about making a difference in your community, which is why I think maybe some people who would maybe be in the position of saying, "Oh, I'm not sure if I'm feeling comfortable with." Well, here's the military. The other side of it is how much they help the community, right? So
it's constantly giving back. So like, if you ever look at it, if you ever look at kind of regions that they have, it's always a give and a take, right? When I was at Fort Drum, they had Mountain Fest and River Fest. So Mountain Fest, we had like Toby Keith, Lieutenant Dan, his band, I don't remember his name, right?
Gary Sinise.
Gary Sinise. His band came out, right? We call him Lieutenant Dan in the military, right? Gary Sinise, he came out with his band.
That might be a good chance to just pivot. Can you tell us, toot your own horn for a second, because I don't know enough about it to say it, but you got an award from the Gary Sinise Foundation.
Did I tell you
Is it
about
the
that?
Gary Sinise Foundation?
It's really nice. No,
you didn't plan this? Have him say?
No, I didn't. So it's from the Medic Now Foundation, and it's called the Carmine A. Cassiano Salute to Service Award, and it's named for this guy who was a helicopter pilot in Vietnam, did like 63 rescues, won 32 air medals.
Wow.
And he and his family established this award through the Medic Now Foundation for like bravery and service to community. And my wife nominated me, and lo and behold, I get a call like 3 weeks ago that says, we only got one nomination, so I guess you're the guy.
No. But is it Gary Sinise? Is he
Gary
the spokesman for it or something?
His foundation
Okay.
is the platinum sponsor for this event. And they're going to be like, it's down in Plymouth. There are like 500 people going to this event.
Nice.
And they're honoring me with this award. But this is like another thing. Like you get imbued with this ethos of service, so that it becomes second nature, right? And so once you're done serving your country, you're not done serving.
Yeah.
You serve your community. You serve other people.
Well, and again,
that's
just
really
all those
important.
other good habits that, like being on time and working as a team and communication, all that also gets imbued in you. That talk about life skills that, as we know from the job training world, it's so hard to kind of instill in maybe a 6-week training. Well, if you're living it for a couple of years, few years, it makes it that much more impactful, right?
I mean, I was only in for 4 years, but it has had an outsized influence on how I interact in society, what I do, how I serve my communities. I mean, that's a lifelong legacy. And if look, and I'm a huge military booster, right? I mean, I'm 4th generation now.
Wow.
So, which is unusual for a family of Jewish people, right? I'm of Jewish faith, so it's unusual. And so this idea of service, what you're talking about, Casey, is super important, and that's what the military kind of inculcates in you. And then when you get out, there's also this respect in the community and outside of the community. And quite frankly, I don't even know what the percentage is. Like 2% of people serve in the military now? 2% of Americans? Is it 5%?
It's less than that.
It's
It's less than 1%.
And I think that's really unfortunate.
No, I think it's unfortunate too.
Really
I would love
unfortunate.
to see some sort of
So you need to work harder.
effort to. Well, is there anything? Thanks for. We got Staff Sergeant Perez. Anything else that we haven't covered that you want to make sure that folks know about? Maybe we could start by saying, how do they go to get more information or get in touch with you?
And why should they go to you other than Navy or Air Force or whatever?
And so
I'm trying to get you in trouble here. I'm trying to get you in trouble here.
No. So if you really want to learn more about it, right? So whichever branch you're really interested in, it just gives you a different opportunity, right? So every single branch gives you a different opportunity, but all the benefits are exactly the same. Mm-hmm. So it's how you want to serve your career and how you want to do the aspect of it, right? Sure. So it's whether it be in the Marines, the Air Force, want to help with flying missions, right? Be on the boat, or you want to be on the ground, right? It depends on how you want to serve, is which branch you should go into contact. But if you're interested, always go visit the ones that are corresponding to your interest. Now, if you're interested in the military, the Army, right, go army.com, or you can come visit us on 255 Park Avenue. And there's
that's
also
that tower building.
Bank of
on
America.
Park Ave.
Yeah,
Right.
and it's not just the Army there; it's all the branches there, minus Coast Guard. So I believe the closest Coast Guard is in Boston. So.
And you and I think also, like when I refer people to you, I say, look, get everything in writing. Right before you sign a contract, get everything in writing.
Yeah.
And do you have like MOS's military occupational
Service. Yeah.
What are they? Service or
Military occupational service.
okay?
Yeah.
Do you have specific ones that you're recruiting for? Like, do you have to recruit for 11 Bravo, which is infantry, or does it matter?
So we recruit for over 150 jobs, right?
Wow.
But where it comes down to is, say if you're all qualified for like as a lawyer, right? You want to go visit JAG, right? So if you want to become a lawyer in the Army, right, and help you progress your career even on the civilian market, right? Maintain your bar exam, all that kind of stuff. You want to go talk to someone who's in JAG. If you're already medically qualified, right, or you want to start your medical pre-meds, right? Yeah, that's cool. You will go talk to a med recruiter. But if you're not those specific tailored ones, all the other stuff would come to us. So if you want to become a warrant officer, a flight warrant, or a regular officer, either in active duty or reserves, or just look at any other jobs we have, that's where I would come in and play.
So goarmy.com would be
GoArmy.com.
the place to check it out, or go down and see. And I think you're co-located with some of the other branches at Park Ave, right?
It's us Air Force, Marines, Navy, even the National Guard and Air Guard.
So I don't know if someone walks in the door, you guys are all like...
No. No, there's a button on there that says whichever one you want to see.
And all the other ones are blacked out, but the Army one is right there, right?
Well,
I think all of them just say Army.
So this will be airing
really
in November, and I think right around that time, early December. Yes, we got that, and then December will be the big Army-Navy game. Is there anything you want to maybe...
Can't be biased here, you know.
Of course you can. Come on, you're totally sympathetic, right? Totally sympathetic.
No, I can't say, you know.
You can't say go Army, beat Navy?
All you got to do is look at West Point and see what's written all over, and then that's how you see I feel, all right?
go.
You know.
Well, again, amazing opportunity. I really appreciate you being here. I appreciate all the help with the Worcester Public Schools that you're doing with
great to have you out
with the
there.
rugby guys that are out there. I know they've really responded to seeing.
You're going to come out again this spring,
Oh, yeah.
right? And you're here for what, 2
more
years?
years. 2 more years, yeah.
Okay,
great.
great.
I go visit the schools, like, for instance, this upcoming Monday, and I know it's already to be aired. I go to the mechanics classes, and I go to JROTCs and give classes and presentations.
Fantastic.
Wonderful.
Good
Well,
for
and
you.
I coach rugby over at WPI, and I know some of the kids there on
The
ROTC, and they're amazing young people.
Yeah.
And again, just another, talk about a benefit. WPI, I think it's like 60, 70, something like that, maybe more, I don't know, a year, and paid for through their service. And it's I'm not going to say it's nothing, but they still have time to do the other college experience that you would do.
The
And
Army
they're still
paid for
getting paid.
3 years. Yeah, the Army paid for 3 years for me at Vassar College, big military school, by the way. And then, my master's degree at USC. I went to airborne school. I went to nuclear, biological, chemical warfare school. All that stuff was paid for.
Yeah. Well, again, thanks for being with us. Really appreciate it. And hopefully we'll get more parents and young people to check it out since it is such a great opportunity.
Yeah, we'd love
Thanks
to
for
come back
being
on.
with us
Thanks.
on the Working Lunch.
All right. Beautiful. Thanks, Casey.
Thank you.
3 to 11, 11 to 7, talking about a bunch of shit.